The 1.2 update for Le Mans Ultimate is coming on the 9th of December. And this update is showing some really promising signs. Next to the somewhat more obvious features one would expect in an update, like the addition of a new car and a new track, they're also changing things on the more fundamental side of the game. What I would like to talk about in this video is the changes they are planning to make to the physics model, the tire model, the graphics and the performance side of the game, but also features to improve the online racing, driving standards, safety rating, and lots of other interesting stuff. It seems like they are implementing some fundamental changes, and looking into 2026, this could be huge for Le Mans Ultimate. But first off, talking about the new car and the new track, the car that is added is the British Ginetta LMP3, which by design looks very nice, but in specs of course is similar to the LMP3 that already is in the game. The new track is Paul Ricard, which is part of the second ELMS update. The third and the final update will be the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, which will probably be coming in a few months' time. Both track and car will be automatically available for Season Pass holders as well as Race Control Pro and Pro Plus subscribers. If you want to buy them separately, they will be available for roughly $9.99 depending on the currency. Looking at the updates they are planning to bring to the physics and the tire model, it seems that they have focused on rubber distribution between high and low speed corners, which mainly translates to high braking zones no longer having less grip than low speed ones. Another big change is being made to the grip offered from all circuits, which should translate to more consistency across all the tracks. Track evolution should also be more present in dry conditions over time, with more cars laying down rubber. We have to wait and see how this impacts the actual driving until the update is released, but in general I think it's very positive that they are still focusing on improving the tire and physics model to improve the overall driving experience. For me, it looks like these changes will provide for better grip and traction, and also when you're not exactly on the racing line, it should provide more grip, and I think that's a good thing. They've also added some changes to the wet weather conditions, main point being that wet racing lines will essentially be more realistic, something we can test when the update is released on the 9th of December. But the biggest one for me seems to be the updates on the car and physics, and specifically wheel rim heating. With this update, brake discs and tires have a direct impact on one another. This will result in more consistent warming parameters and improved behavior, especially in colder ambient temperatures. When we take a look at graphics and performance, I think it's good to say that general graphics improvements have been made, which also should increase the level of detail in driver swap events. I think it's great to see that they also are translating stuff back to the PC following the console development of the game. For sim racers in general, it's important to have good performance when you're driving, and it's great to see that they are taking that into account. Another feature that is coming with this update, and I think this is a huge one, is the badge system and live Steward. This is probably one of the biggest updates coming with this 1.2 version of LMU. This will introduce changes being made to improve the driving standards. They are adding so-called badges to all users. This is simply a measure of a player's contact ratio over the last 10 races, adjusted by the severity of the contact. You will get a badge according to this measure, and it will be visible for everyone in your race event. This badge is not the same as safety rank, but it does use some of the same metrics. The best badge you can earn is a good or trusted badge. But there's also a warning badge, which means these drivers have been given a chance to improve their contact ratio before being banned automatically. And if you get banned, you will get into a so-called probation state, during which time a so-called re-evaluation period, said driver can improve their badge. It could even result in a permanent ban if you multiply bans one after another. I think this is a first real step into improving the driving standards and a very welcome change. This should, in theory, absolutely make players be more aware of their driving style. In general, I feel this change will improve driving standards and will eventually result in cleaner race events. And it's also a huge benefit. You can see the badges of other drivers in your race event, so you can take that into account and you can see what kind of drivers you are actually racing against. This badge system will also be used for matchmaking, which should result in finding better races more consistently. Another feature being implemented is Live Steward. This feature allows for automatically assessing incidents in races, starting with so-called intentional wrecks only. This feature will monitor races and deal with players that break the rules. It will not take action just yet. It is for now, as the developers have stated, just recording and learning, so to speak, in the background. The developers are hoping that in the future they can roll out this feature with more additions, such as live penalties. Say for instance, for an unsafe rejoin or contact between cars. But in general, I think it's fair to say that the developers are really committed to creating a better and more safe online racing environment. I think this is a very positive step in the right direction. In addition to that, or on top of that, they are also implementing an anti-cheat feature. It will automatically install with the update, and one important thing to note is that you will also be forced to start LMU through Steam from the 9th of December onwards. In regards to online championships, they are expanding the online championship feature with team championships coming with this release, in which teams can compete in online championships. Engineer mode. After much anticipation, Engineer mode will be added in this release as well. This mode allows players in driver swap events to take on the role of engineer and take care of everything on the pit wall, such as tires and fuel. So the one driving can focus on the actual driving. But this feature will also be available in single driver special events and online championships, which means you can ask a friend to be your engineer for these races so you can focus on the driving. And of course vice versa. If you want to help out a friend, that's also possible. I think this is a very cool feature. Next to that, they've also added time penalties. I think this adds more nuance to the penalty system. These penalties can be added to the next pit stop or at the end of the race. I think this is a very good improvement because a drive-through as the minimum penalty was sometimes a bit harsh. Another change is a brand new telemetry system, which means you can start recording your own telemetry. Main point being you can analyze your own racing and look at parts where you want to improve. Full documentation on the telemetry modes is available at guide.lemanultimate.com. All in all, I think this 1.2 update is going to bring some huge changes to LMU. Also looking into the future and into 2026. Having new tracks and new cars is of course nice, but with the new badge system, continued updates on the tires and physics, improvements in features such as engineer mode and the telemetry system, I think the developers are really showing that they want to take LMU to the next level. It seems like they are really taking in feedback from the community and want to make 2026 a big year for the sim. I'm looking forward to it. And of course we will be testing the 1.2 update when it's released on the 9th of December, so subscribe if you don't want to miss anything. Thank you for taking time in watching this video and I'll see you in the next one.